For years, one single company has had an absolute iron grip on the AI chip market. But that trillion-dollar empire, the one that seemed totally untouchable, well, it just got a massive reality check. We're about to dive into a huge power shift happening at the very heart of the AI revolution.
Okay, look at this. This is the number that sent total shockwaves through Silicon Valley. In just one day, Nvidia, the undisputed king of AI chips, watched over $100 billion of its market value just evaporate.
So, what on earth happened? Well, the news broke that Meta, one of the biggest buyers of AI chips on the entire planet, was in serious talks to buy billions of dollars worth of chips from Google, not Nvidia. And the market's reaction was, it was swift and it was brutal, and it raised a massive question for the whole industry.
Now, to really get why this was such a big deal, you have to look at this. This chart shows just how dominant Nvidia has been. We're talking 90% of the market. 90%. This kind of dominance is what sent their stock price to the moon and had every major tech company basically lining up at their door. This wasn't just a company. It was, for all intents and purposes, a monopoly.
So this was Nvidia's official response. And when you read it, it's kind of part self-congratulation, part defensive maneuver. They're obviously trying to calm down some very jittery investors. But it also shows a crack in the armor, a vulnerability they haven't really had to deal with before. Real, actual competition. So the big question is, are they saying this out of pure confidence, or is there maybe a little hint of desperation in there?
So, who is this new challenger? Well, to get that, we have to talk about what Google has been building, mostly in secret, for more than a decade. They're their own custom chips, and they're called Tensor Processing Units, or TPUs. Just think of them as custom-built brains designed to do one thing and one thing only: run AI calculations at absolutely blistering speeds.
And this timeline just illustrates the two strategies perfectly. On one hand, you have Nvidia, out in the open, selling their super powerful GPUs to anyone who could afford them. They were basically selling the picks and shovels during the AI gold rush. But meanwhile, Google was playing the long game. They were quietly perfecting their own tech, using it only for themselves to power their own massive AI projects.
And boy, did that long game pay off. The proof is in the pudding. Their latest AI model, Gemini 3, was built without a single Nvidia chip in sight, and it still outperformed most of its rivals. Now, that was the proof of concept that other tech giants needed to see to start asking some very, very uncomfortable questions. And those questions, they led to big action. First, Anthropic, a major AI player, signed a multi-billion-dollar deal for about 1 million of Google's TPUs. And then came the meta news we talked about. All of a sudden, it felt like the floodgates were opening. The rest of the industry woke up and realized, wait a minute, there might be a powerful and cheaper alternative to Nvidia's hardware.
So this brings us to the showdown. Can Google's TPUs really truly go head-to-head with Nvidia's legendary GPUs? Well, it's not a simple yes or no. The answer actually boils down to a few really key factors.
Okay, we're going to break this whole thing down into 4 critical areas that are really going to decide who wins this chip war. Price, what you get for that price, so performance per dollar, versatility, and, maybe the most important of all, software.
Okay, first up, let's talk price, because this is probably the most shocking part of the whole story. Google's TPUs can cost anywhere from 10 to 50% of what Nvidia is charging. Now, for companies that are literally burning through millions of dollars a day to train these massive AI models, a price difference is huge. Well, it's just impossible to ignore.
And it's not just about the upfront cost. It's about efficiency. As you can see right here, industry experts are saying that these alternative chips from Google offer about 1.4 times better performance for every single dollar you spend. In an industry where efficiency is everything, that kind of gain is massive. It translates directly into huge savings of both time and money.
Okay, but here's where Nvidia still has a really big advantage: versatility. Think of their GPUs like Swiss Army knives. They're amazing because they can handle a whole bunch of different tasks. Google's TPUs, on the other hand, are more like specialized surgical instruments. They are custom built to do one thing, AI, and they do it exceptionally well. Now, for researchers who are experimenting, that versatility is key. But for a company like Meta that just needs to run a finished model at an insane scale, that specialization is actually a huge plus. It's pure, focused power for way less money.
But Nvidia has another ace up its sleeve. And honestly, it might be their most powerful, most underappreciated advantage: a massive software fortress that's been built around something called CUDA.
So here's the deal. If the GPU chip is the engine, CUDA is the transmission. It's what makes everything actually work together smoothly. It's the software platform that, over the last decade, has become the absolute, unquestioned industry standard for anyone doing AI development.
And this, right here, is Nvidia's defensive moat. You have thousands upon thousands of developers who have spent their entire careers mastering CUDA. So switching to a new system isn't just about buying new hardware. It means you have to retrain your entire teams. It means rewriting enormous amounts of code. The headache and the cost of switching can be so high that it outweighs the benefits. And you can bet Nvidia is banking on that.
So this all brings us to the final battleground. We are literally watching a fundamental test of the entire industry play out in real time. And the future of who builds the very infrastructure of AI is, well, it's more uncertain than it has been in years. And this table just lays out the dilemma perfectly, doesn't it? If you're a big tech company right now, what do you do? Do you stick with the proven, reliable, but very expensive leader, Nvidia, or do you take a gamble on a new platform that could save you a fortune but comes with all those risks and switching costs? It's a hugely complex calculation, and there's no easy answer.
And you know, Google isn't even alone in this fight anymore. Amazon has its own chip called Trainium. OpenAI is working on its own custom silicon. And in a funny twist of fate, it was Nvidia's own incredible success that created this problem for them. Their prices got so high and their chips were so hard to get that they basically forced their biggest customers to start looking for another way.
So here's what you should really take away from all this. One thing is absolutely certain. The era of Nvidia's comfortable, unchallenged monopoly is over. Now, whether they end up falling from the top spot or just forced to innovate faster, this new competition is exactly what the market needed. Ultimately, it's going to drive innovation and lower prices for everybody.
And Matt leaves us with the real trillion-dollar question, right? Can a company stay on top through sheer technological superiority, even when cheaper, more efficient options start popping up? We're watching a fundamental battle between technological muscle and economic reality play out. And whichever side wins, well, that's going to define the future of AI.